campers, this is Darren with My RV Works. Today we are in Union, Washington. Oh my gosh, is that the sun? It's too bright. So we're coming out of the winter, we're coming into spring. It's actually getting warm, it's exciting. We got Hood Canal back behind us and the Olympic Mountains. They're so beautiful with their snow on them. We were up there with some friends just the other day playing in the snow. So today what we have for you is we have this road trek, and we're going to be doing several things on this road trek. So what this is going to be is a preventative maintenance type of a service call. There's really nothing wrong with this, but we're going to be checking different systems on that so that they can go have an entire summer long of travel and fun, and knowing that everything's going to be working great for them. So follow along. The idea, I think, is to break this up into several small videos, and so you can pick and choose which one you need to watch. So here we go. Let's go have some fun, making sure that they have a happy camping experience. Okay, let's have a quick chat about batteries. Now, what we have here is we have AGM batteries, absorbed glass mat batteries. You have spiral cell, the lead acid. There's lots of different battery technologies. What we also have here is they say there's a marine RV battery. Now, I have another video where I'm going to go in greater detail about batteries than you ever wanted to know, but let's talk about these batteries. Now, customer states that when he is plugged into shore power and he checks his battery gauge, it shows the batteries are full. Well, of course it shows the batteries are full. Battery is a storage device, and at that point when it's plugged into shore power, he's not storing anything. He's being charged at that point. So it's when you unplug it from shore power, give it an hour or two, then let's check the batteries. As a storage device, did it store the charge? Is it a storage device? Now, right here, if I can see, well, here, let's do it this way. I'm connected to my battery, and I've got 12.9. Okay, great, it's a healthy battery. I just took it off charge, though. I would expect it still to be up pretty high. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run in and flip the breaker to turn this on. I expect that to go to about 13.6. Why is it going to go to 13.6? I don't know. In my mind, if I'm going to charge a 12-volt battery, I need to charge it with 13 volts. Because if I charge it with 12 volts, it's just going to look at me and it'd be an even. I need to actually charge it with a greater voltage. So let's go 1 volt higher. Let's go to 13 volts or 13.6 volts to charge a 12-volt battery. Then I'm actually charging something. I'm actually putting energy back into the battery. So let me, now, I'm going to go turn the breaker on. We're going to see what this does. Now, another thing we're going to be checking is my converter working? I can check that at the battery. If my converter is working, the converter is the charger converter. It's two devices in one. Charger is not a converter, and a converter is not a charger, but a lot of times they stick them in one box, if you will. Converter's job is to take 120 volts AC and convert it to 12 volts DC, period, full stop. That's its job, period, that's it. Convert. The charger's job is to charge the battery. Now there's a gotcha. Not all chargers are the same. Not all batteries are the same. Here we have AGM batteries. The charger that came with this, I haven't looked at it, I don't know. But a lot of times the chargers that come with RVs are expecting to see the battery having the water caps on top. You put the water, this distilled water in it. If you have an AGM battery, these batteries need to be charged much slower because they cannot gas off like a water-filled battery can. These are maintenance free. There's nothing to do with these except plug them in. So if you're going to upgrade to AGM batteries, you also need to upgrade your charger. So your charger knows you have an AGM battery. Some of your batteries, chargers, I know Magnum and Xantrex have this where they have a little dial thing you push and or the charger's interviewing you, and it's basically saying, well, what kind of battery do you have? Oh, very nice. Okay, so you have an AGM. Well, is it an AGM 1 or is it an AGM 2? Oh, would you like paper or plastic? How about fries with that? So it's asking you all these questions. Some of the other questions it might ask you is, what is the amp hour rating, or what's the reserve capacity of that battery? The reason he's asking you all these questions is so he can get the right algorithm to charge that battery at the right rate and not boil over and not make the battery swell. Now, having said that, I just broached a subject. These batteries are starting to show a little bit of swelling. I'll take the camera off and I'll show you the angle that I'm looking at. If your batteries are swelling, they're getting hot. That's not good. So these batteries swelling are telling me that they're charging too quickly and they can't gas off, so that it starts to expand, the casing that it's in. So I'm going to go turn this on. I'm at 12.9 now. I'm going to go turn on the breaker, and we're going to see if the converter is in fact converting. Remember, we're trying to charge, well, converter's converting to 12 volts, and it's taking that 12 volts and charging the battery. Now, when you charge a battery, there are 3 phases that it should go through: bulk, absorption, and float. Well, what the heck's all that about? I like to think of a 55-gallon drum, and I'm going to fill that 55-gallon drum. When I'm totally at the top, my drum is full. So if my drum is empty, then I'm going to go get a fire hose, and I could care less what my volume of water flowing into this thing is. I just want to get it filled. So I'm going to bulk fill my 55-gallon drum to about the 10% full level. So we'll call that bulk. Give me a fire hydrant, give me a hose, let's just fill this thing up. At that point, I'm concerned about voltage, 12 volts, but I'm not so concerned about amperage. Just give me as much amperage as you can give me. Once I get to that 10% to the top mark, then I'm going to do a thing called absorption. I'm going to let this arm down because my arm's getting tired. There. I'm not Italian, but I'll use my hands. Where were we at? Absorption. So now my bucket has been filled. My 55-gallon drum is about 10% from the top, and now I have that next 10. Now I don't want to overfill my bucket, so now I'm going to turn off my fire hydrant, and I'm going to switch over to a garden hose. Okay. The garden hose, I'm still going to maintain 12 volts, but at this point, I do care about my amperage. I'm going to start to meter my amperage a little bit to make sure that I'm just trickling in. I want to keep going into my bucket with a garden hose, not a fire hydrant. Fire hydrant, bulk, garden hose, absorption. Got it? That's the second part of charging a battery. The third is this float charge. Float is where I might take a turkey baster, okay, and just add a little bit, oops, some went out, add a little bit more, take some out, some went in. So I'm just using my turkey baster to fill my water. So from fire hydrant to garden hose to turkey baster. Bulk, absorption, float. With me? Great. Some of your chargers have a thing called equalization. And equalization could be something like, think of a grocery store, if you will, and there's a store in Port Angeles that I like to go to. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not into all that, but there's a grocery store I go into, and I tell you, every time I go into that store, all their aisles are perfectly fronted. I never see anybody doing it, and it's 24 hours a day, and I'm there all the time, but all their cans are always facing out, and they're all right on the edge, and it's just, I feel like I'm walking into a commercial. It's amazing. So it's really fun to go there, just to look at the aisles, and oh, they didn't get to that one yet. So in your battery, that's like fronting all of your shelves in a store, and there's a microprocessor involved in this, and basically what it's going to do is it's like that the self-cleaning oven mode. It's going to boil your battery. Oh my gosh, we're going to boil our battery, but it's doing it in a very controlled way so that it can burn off all the barnacles, if you will, the electrons that are stuck on the plates that can't get off. It's going to try to burn those off to get them back in the solution, if you will. I'm trying to use some analogies that won't fry your brain on these batteries, okay? So imagine an electron is a barnacle and it's stuck on one of the plates and it just can't get off. Even my 12.6 volts is not enough to get it to pop off that thing because it's going to barnacleize on there. And if we leave it on there long enough, it's going to start to look at like a lot of barnacles. And if these barnacles fill up and there's a plate over here, they might touch each other, and now you have a shorted out battery. Well, that's not good. And so what the equalization does is it cooks all the plates at a very specific voltage for a very specific point of time, kind of cooking the electrons off of the plates. Using this strictly as an analogy, okay? My physics friends don't razz me like, hey, you're ruining all the battery theory. Okay, well, I'm just trying to keep this simple. So we have our fire hydrant, bulk. We have our garden hose, absorption. We have our turkey baster, float. So when you see your meter, if some of you have the battery chargers that have that state on there, just remember that. And then if you see equalization, that is basically the self-cleaning oven, if you will. We're going to kind of fry the battery in a very special way to burn off those barnacles back into solution to keep your battery happy and everything fronted. Now, didn't plan on going into all that on this video. I was going to work on this battery, but hey, I'm working on batteries and I like batteries and they're exciting to me. And so teachable moment. Hey, so I'm going to go flip the breaker. We're going to make sure that this is reading 13.6. If it's reading 13.6, I know my converter, my charger is working. Okay. Now we don't know what state it's in, bulk, absorption, or float, but we do know that 13.6 is working here. Okay, so let me spin you around. I'm going to show you the swelling of this battery, and then we'll flip the breaker on and we'll see what the value is going into the battery. Now we've turned the breaker on. Let's see what our meter's. We're at 13.6. So right there we know that the converter is producing the correct voltage to charge the battery. The charger and converter are producing the correct voltage. And like I said, you need 13.6 in order to actually charge a battery. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you was the swelling of this. Let me see if I can get that angle for you. Okay, I don't know if you can really make it out, but do you see the swelling of these batteries here? the case is starting to swell a little bit there. Now, when you see the swelling of the battery, that's basically an indication to you, human, that there's something wrong here, because batteries should not be swelling. Basically, it's getting hot. Well, it's getting hot because it's charging too quickly, and that might be an indication, A, that there's not enough water in there. Well, these are AGM batteries, and there's no way to add water to them. And when I say water, I'm talking distilled water only, please. Or they're charging too quickly, which is an indication that if you're going to go upgrade your batteries to an AGM or something like that, you need to upgrade your battery charger as well for all the reasons we just mentioned. So this battery charger might be what I call a low-tech, no-tech battery charger, and we're charging higher-tech, higher-end batteries with it, and that charger does not know that it needs to regulate the charge going to these batteries, which is causing them to get hot, because they cannot gas off and the cases are starting to swell. And that might be one of the things that's going on with this customer's batteries not being able to hold a charge. Damage is being done because they're not charging as efficiently as they could. So we'll pass that information on to the customer. And these are basically new batteries. So like I have been saying, teachable moment, if you're going to upgrade your batteries to an AGM or spiral cell or something like that, you also need to upgrade your battery charger, and you need to make sure that that battery charger understands that you have a battery in there that needs to charge slower. There was one more thing I wanted to mention about these batteries. If you are having problems with your batteries and you have two batteries like this that are wired in series, these would be 6-volt batteries wired in series. Think of your flashlight where you have the two plus to minus, plus to minus. The way you troubleshoot this is isolate each battery separately. Okay, when I'm getting my 13.6 going into these batteries and I'm reading my 12 volts, that is both batteries combined. But if you're going to troubleshoot this, you need to separate the two batteries and treat them each individually. The last topic on these batteries, and then we'll move on to something else. And if this is helpful, let me know, because I can go into greater detail on batteries and talk about them for another hour. But the difference, so his batteries were two 6-volt batteries. Okay, I only have 5 fingers. There were two 6-volt batteries tied together. The minus of one battery is connected to the plus on the other battery, so you get 12. Think of a flashlight. Now, let's say that one cell of those batteries was bad. So here's the vision I want you to think about on a battery that's wired in series. Two 6-volt batteries wired in series. You have to go to a grocery store. So stay with this analogy, and I think you'll get it. Your job is to go to a grocery store. You have 2 stores that you need to go to, but you have to go to them in a certain order. You have to go in the entrance of one, go up and down 6 aisles. Each aisle you're going to pick up one item, and you're going to leave that store's exit, and you're going to go into the entrance of the next store and go up and down its 6 aisles, and then you're going to finally do your checkout. Okay, does that make sense? So you with me? 2 stores. You're going to go in, 6 aisles, out. Go into the next door, 6 aisles, out. So visualize that's how you're gonna go shopping in series. And each aisle you're gonna pick up an item, if that makes sense. Let's say aisle 3 has a spill and you can't get through aisle 3. There's no way to get through aisle 3. Well, that means you might be able to get in aisle 1 and 2, but you can't get through aisle 3. So that means aisle 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, you can't get through there. Okay, so we were talking about equalization. That's why equalization is important, because if one of your plates has failed or is faulting or is not as efficient as your other plates, then it's going to bring the whole battery down. So if you're troubleshooting your batteries and you do have them in series, you do need to take them apart and now treat them as two 6-volt batteries and verify that they do have 6 volts. You could do a load test, which is that carbon thing with little handle, little grates on it, and you have little jumper cables, and you push the button, you hold it for about 10 seconds and watch that needle. So you would do that on each separate battery. So when you have 2 batteries, you don't treat them as one, because one of those batteries might be bad. I hope that's making sense, but I'll do a whole other video on batteries. I'll actually slice them open and cut them open and do all kinds of fun things. Yay, we'll look forward to that. Maybe when things slow down a little bit. So, all right, I just wanted to add that to troubleshoot on the batteries. Okay, folks, so there you have it. I hope that going through some of these annual maintenance type things on this RV have helped you. And if it has helped you, hey, give us a thumb up. It does help. And subscribe to it, share it with some friends. And happy campers say my RV works. And I think that now this RV and this camper are going to have a good summer in their coach. We've checked some of their systems. Everything's working great. So I expect good results from them. And I expect to hear good results from you as well. So hopefully my rambling and everything doesn't frustrate you too much. And just got too much in here I want to share with you. So, but that's why we break these videos up, to kind of search them by topic and whatnot. So, yeah, hey, help us out. Give us a thumb up. We appreciate you. And happy campers say my RV works. So this is Darren signing off. Bye-bye.